What is good, YouTube, man? Today I'm back with you guys, with the nation, for another video, man. And today I got us a good one. And a much needed one, in my opinion. I feel like we kind of need to know about this defensive line, how it's going to work, who's going to start where. Pass rushing situations. I have to go over this because shout out to Gus Bradley in his press conference. He said that they're looking into having two groups, two sets of pass rushing defensive line groups. So I'm going to go over what I think could be two different defensive line groups, and I'm going to go over with that today with you guys, man. And today, you already know, I have to give a big shout out to Icy Nate. He is the creator of today's thumbnail. Shout out to him. Go check his channel out. It is at icy_Nate. Go check him out if you want good Raiders content as well. You know what I'm saying? So go check him out. But, I'm not going to have the crazy visuals. I'm just going to give you guys the players and what it looks like. I'm not going to give you guys film today. I'm just going to be picking out the brains and really talking about assignments, okay? But you know what? Without further ado, I'll see you at the visuals, man.
Yo, what is good? What is good? We are here with the visuals, man, and this is why I said that we not going to have some film today, because look, I really want to go over the scheme and the assignments for this defensive line, okay? I really want to do that because let's track back a bit, starting off with Cleveland Furrow. When he had his presser, he said that this defensive line was responsible for six gaps. And guess what? This is a perfect visual to understand that. So as you can see, the guy that's highlighted in green is your 5 technique defensive end, and he has the responsibility of outside containment, so the C gap, as well as the B gap. Okay, so it might be confusing for some of you guys, but the lineman on the furthest, the offensive lineman, so the guys in white, the one with his hand in the dirt furthest to the left, that guy is actually a tight end, right? So this is why I mean that Cleveland Furrow, or when he said that the guys were responsible for 6 different assignments and there are only 4 of them, he was actually completely right? So Cleveland Furrow has the containment, or that's what he would play. So let's just say that in this case, the guy highlighted in green, he has to hold the outside containment, but as well, he has to leave no space in that B gap, or else our middle linebacker would have to come in and close that up. You know what I'm saying? Now, let's go to your one technique. Your one technique also has... he has a pretty big assignment, if we're being honest. He has the A gap on both sides of the center. That is a tough task, but if you hold your own, you can do it. You honestly really can do it. And I'm very happy that we have a guy like Jonathan Hankins to do that. So as you can see, your 2 gap, the guy highlighted in yellow, he has the responsibility of, like I just said, the A gap on both sides of the center. Now, let me break it down for you guys, right? So the tackles on the outside of each tackles, that's called the C gap. That is called the C gap. That is the containment, right? Now, between the tackles and the guard, that is the B gap, and between the center and the guard, those are called the A gaps. So when you hear me use that kind of terminology, I want you guys to know what it means, right? Okay, so right here, like I said, I'm going to start from left to right. I'm going to start off with the guy in green, highlighted in green. He is our 2 gap defensive end. He is a 5 technique. Okay, so in this case, like I said, he has outside contain. He has to get the C gap as well as the B gap. Now, let's move to the guy highlighted in yellow. He has both A gaps opposite side of the center, right? So he has to necessarily close both of those gaps up in order for this defense to work very well. But we have a good run stopper in Jonathan Hankins to play that 1 tech. Now, the 3 technique, he's your defensive tackle. Now, we have a couple of 3 techs that can play this position, right? But so let's just say right now, the guy highlighted in blue, in turquoise blue, he just has the B gap. He has to make sure that absolutely nobody gets through that gap, that crease in between the guard and the tackle, right? The guard and the tackle, you see a lot of runs break free out of that gap right there. So he has a good assignment there. But for him, he only has 1 assignment. Now, you have your Leo furthest on the right. He has outside contain himself, but he's your main guy. He's the one that's going to be getting after at the quarterback every single time. That's why it's called a 4-3 under, because as you can see on your far left, you have a Sam linebacker right there on the line of scrimmage, and I'm going to actually show you guys my visuals. Each one of them is going to have a Sam linebacker on them. So your Sam linebacker also helps out with the outside contain with your 5 gap, your 5 technique 2 gap defense end. So he has to help out there, and he will. Now, I want you guys to understand that in this defense, our Leo will always be on the opposite side of the opposing team's tight end. Always. The Leo cannot be on the strong side of the play, because our Leo is just our best pass rusher, right? He's not the greatest run stopper. He's our best pass rusher. So our Leo will always be on the opposite side of the tight end, or he'll just be on the weak side of the play. Now, let me show you the visuals and what I think it'll look like with our players, right? So, starting for the Raiders, first and second down in our base 4-3 under defense, I'm matching it up with the Chiefs offensive line, because I feel like we'll be like the Chiefs is our best matchup, right? The Chiefs is our best matchup. We see them 2 times a year. We really want, this is the team to beat in our division, right? So I'm just matching it up with the Chiefs just to give you guys a visual, right? So first and second down, obviously, you have your Leo, Yannick Ngakoue. He is going to be furthest to the right on this side, in this play, right? He's the furthest to the right. If we were talking about in game, but on your screen, he's the furthest to the left. Now, you have your 3 technique defensive tackle. That would be Quentin Jefferson. Very, very, very underrated run stopper, in my opinion. Very good run stopper, in my opinion, we have in Quentin Jefferson, as well as a decent pass rusher. He is. I like his pass rush, and you have to understand, he made his money in this defense with Seattle. So I'm excited to see Quentin Jefferson work. But now, that one technique, that 2 gap, one technique that you guys saw, that nose tackle, he's Jonathan Hankins. He's going to be responsible for the A gap on both sides of the center, right? So he has a big responsibility. And keep in mind, guys, I'm showing you guys this is first and second downs. So these are the more likely run downs, right? These are the running situations, right? So this is why I'm showing you guys this defensive line. First, I'm going to get into what I think can be our 2 pass rushing sets, though. Now, your 5 technique, your defensive end here is going to be Cleveland Ferrell, right? And a lot of you guys might be like, hold on, Yannick Ngakoue has just been, hyping up Max Crosby, and they're going to be the next best thing. How come Max Crosby is not starting? You have to understand, I don't think anybody in that building would be comfortable with having Max Crosby as a 5 technique sandwiched in between a right tackle and a right guard, and telling him that he has to stop the run, as well as on 3rd and 4th down, he has to rush the passer. That is too much for him. He needs to be coming off in pass rushing situations. He needs to be coming on the field, fresh legs, ready to go, ready to sack the quarterback. And that's why he's not going to be starting, in my opinion, on 1st and 2nd downs when we see heavy run plays. But that's what I like to see, right? That's what I like to see. You have 2 strong run stoppers with Cleveland Ferrell and Jonathan Hankins. And those guys really have to set the tone, because those guys are on the strong side of the field, right? They're on the strong side of the play. Now, you see that I put Sam linebacker, or your strong side linebacker, and in this case, I put Corey Littleton, right? I had no doubt ever in my mind, if you go back to one of the first Raiders Chalk Talk videos that I ever did, in any of the videos that I ever did, not even Raiders Chalk Talk, I always said that Corey Littleton has to be the strong side linebacker, and he will be the strong side linebacker. And in this case, I'd like to say I was right, because when you look and you hear about our defensive coordinator, Gus Bradley, said that Corey Littleton is a guy that is surprisingly very good in coverage and can really set the edge. Now, when you are talking about a guy like Corey Littleton, right, he's the strong side linebacker in this situation. He has to make sure that if Travis Kelce blocks, he has to make sure that nobody, absolutely nobody, is going through Travis Kelce's gap when he creates a hole, right? And he said that Corey Littleton's a guy that can set the edge for us. So, like I said, Corey Littleton will be our Sam linebacker. He has to be, and he will be, right? So that's why I'm showing you guys our first and second down run defense. And look, guys, with this, it always looks like we have 5 down linemen on the field, but necessarily we really don't. We just have a good strong side linebacker that can also set the edge in Corey Littleton. Now, I want to get into team 1 of what I believe can be our best pass rushing unit for getting after the quarterback in game time situations when we need a sack and that kind of stuff. You know, this is also going to be the A team of each, on third down and stuff like that. But I also have the B team from when they need a breather, right? When we're kind of winning, but we still have a third down situation. We want to get the other guys some reps so that they can get their energy back, get some breathers in, and then get out there for that fourth quarter and really dominate then. But let's get into the team 1 of our NASCAR package, right? This is NASCAR package right here, right? So last year, our NASCAR package was pretty bad in my opinion. I mean, just compare what we had last year. Last year, we had our best NASCAR package had Arden Key, Vic Beasley, who else? Cleveland Ferrell, and I think Jonathan Hankins was out there. Now, this is a completely better NASCAR package. Completely better NASCAR package, man. I love this one 1,000%. Just check this out, right? You mean to tell me that this unit right here won't get a sack if you need it? I mean, starting at that 5 tech, defense man. This is a NASCAR package. We know they're going to throw the ball. So Max Crosby just has to do what he does best and get after that quarterback. And that's what he'll be doing at that 5 tech defense end right there. And then on the opposite side, you got your Leo, Yannick Ngakoue, man. Then the people get what they want. They get Cleveland Ferrell moving into the inside to see him do what he likes to do also, and rushing the passer out of that defensive tackle position. But then you also have our nose tackle, Quentin Jefferson, doing what he did with the Buffalo Bills just 1 year ago and playing that 1 tech. If he never did that with the Bills, I would have actually been uncomfortable with doing this, right? But since he had a whole year of getting to learn and getting a bunch of reps at that nose tackle position with the Buffalo Bills and really actually getting better with it as the year went on, I love this NASCAR package right here. This NASCAR package has some ability to do damage, man. I mean, you're talking about Quentin Jefferson, Cleveland Ferrell really generating pressure, in my opinion, in that inside. Then you have 2 very, very good sack artists in Max Crosby and Yannick Ngakoue, right? Max Crosby has over 17 sacks in 2 seasons. Yannick Ngakoue is, I think, second since entering the league in pressures. He's second in fumbles created. He's up there with the best. We're talking about with Aaron Donald, Khalil Mack, all those guys. He's up there with those guys with his stats, man. And this right here can be an amazing unit to see really get after it coming into the season. I'm very excited to see this work because Yannick Ngakoue just takes a ton of pressure off of Cleveland Ferrell, who will be right next to him. And then Max Crosby, with his 17 sacks in 2 seasons, is going to take a ton of pressure off of a guy like Quentin Jefferson. So we're really going to see some solid plays this year. Because what are you going to do? Are you going to choose to double team Cleveland Ferrell on the inside so that you don't get that quick sack, or run the risk of having, Yannick Ngakoue on the outside just by himself, one-on-one? I don't think any team wants to do that, right? And then at the same time, what are they going to do? Double team our nose with Quentin Jefferson and leave Max Crosby on an island with their right tackle? I don't think any team wants to do that, right? So they have to pick their poison going into the season. Who do they want to block? Who do they want to double team? Who do they want to let have that one-on-one matchup? And I believe that any of these guys, maybe besides Quentin Jefferson, because he'll be double-teamed a ton at that 1 technique in this NASCAR package, but I think you really don't want to leave any of these guys a one-on-one in this NASCAR package because these are some lethal guys right here. I mean, Max Crosby, We all know what he could do. We all know what Yannick Ngakoue can do. And Cleveland Farrell has been, steady emerging as a pass rusher, right? He had only 4 less pressures last year than Chase Young. And Chase Young played 4 more games than Cleveland Farrell. And, Chase Young is labeled as a next great pass rusher, and Cleveland Farrell is labeled as a very, very bad one. So, with that being said, let me get into what I believe can be our NASCAR package number 2 to give this team a breather, to give this defensive line a breather. But let's get into it right now. So, right here, this might excite some of you guys. It excites me, right? And, right here, it shows some new faces. It shows some familiar faces, right? The familiarities here is that Quinton Jefferson is still at the 1 because I don't believe that we have any other pass rushing nose tackle, in my opinion. So I think that he would have to be there. And, you could have, as you can see, I have Cleveland Farrell as the 5 technique now instead of the 3 technique. But there's guys that can replace Cleveland Farrell in this situation. You have a guy like Kendall Vickers that can replace Cleveland Farrell in this situation to give Cleveland Farrell a nice breather. Because Kendall Vickers can really play that 5 technique in my opinion. He can really, really do that if he were to be assigned to do something like that. So you have a guy like Kendall Vickers that can replace Cleveland Farrell in this package. Maybe even give Carl Nassib some reps in this package. It's really, really tough to understand. But let me talk about the guys that we got here, right? You got your Leo. You got your 79th overall pick, 3rd round of this year's draft. Malcolm Koonce out there. Shout out to everybody who believes in Malcolm Koonce because this is his time to shine, man. Malcolm Koonce, I can really see him if what Gus Bradley says, with him trying to really get 2 groups out there. I can see Malcolm Koonce actually finishing off the season 4 or 5 sacks as just a pure pass rusher and just getting barely any reps, and I can see him doing that, right? Now, it might be a little bit biased here because I'm not the biggest fan of Solomon Thomas, so I did put Darius Stills here at that 3 technique, but if we're being honest, if there were to be a second group, Solomon Thomas, the man that's making $5 million, would probably be at that 3 technique. So, yeah. But I think that overall, if we want to just pass rush, this is a better pass rush unit than, let's say, having, let's say we completely just tore up everything. Let's say we had a guy like Nassib at the 5 technique where Cleveland Farrell was. Let's say you put Solomon Thomas right there where Darius Stills is. And, I just wouldn't see that group generating much pressure outside of Malcolm Koonce. But, just imagine this defensive line, right? Like I said, you can remove Cleveland Farrell, give him a breather, put Kendall Vickers in. But this will be a very, very solid group too. I mean, Malcolm Koonce and Darius Stills have only gotten praise since coming into camp and being with the guys. So this is something I really, really would enjoy seeing. And yet again, you see that Corey Littleton is that Sam linebacker, right? We have no other Sam linebacker on this roster. And like I said, the Leo will always be opposite side of the tight end because our Leo is not a good run stopper on any defense. He is our best pass rusher. He is the guy that's best at generating pressure, getting after the quarterback. So he just doesn't fit to be on the strong side of the strong side of the offense. That would kind of hinder us a bit, right? Now, why I like why I like that we have this many, the fact that we are going into the season having basically 2 sets of defense lines is amazing, right? It allows us to really, this is what's going to allow us to go deep in the playoffs, in my opinion, if we were to go into playoffs, right? But the fact that, let's say that this defense line right here, technically better than what we had last year, right? I mean, it's technically better than what we had last year as a NASCAR package, but I'm excited to see what damage we could do, Raider Nation. I'm excited, but that'll be it for the visuals today, man. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you at the outro.
Hey, so what you guys think of the visuals, man? What you guys think of the visuals? So, like I said earlier, I wasn't going to have no film in this one. This one, I kind of wanted to keep it kind of like, you're sitting back, you're with your coach, and he's just explaining to you the game, right? He's not really showing you anything in terms of game film, but He's telling you how it is, what you need to do, what's your assignment, how to play it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I brought back right here. No film, but I gave you guys the visuals of what I think could be team 1, pass rushing situation team. And then team 2, I even gave you guys our first and second down defense that I think we will have starting come week 1. But yeah, man, I mean, we talked about it. I kind of showed you some things. I want to know your guys' feedback, you know, because I felt like this was a much needed video. We kind of needed clarity on this defensive line, right? I mean, we have spots on this D-line where, I mean, the interior defensive line, maybe people think we didn't improve that much, right? People may not like our improvements and what we did. And, you know, I feel like I kind of needed to make this video after Gus Bradley really hinted at 2 different groups to pass rush against the quarterbacks in this year. You know what I'm saying? He wants 2 groups that are going to be able to get after the quarterback so that we can have group run ready in game time situations, like trying to close out a game in the fourth quarter, trying to get a sack when you need it. You know, that kind of stuff, man. So I'm excited to see what we could do next. But Raider Nation, that'll be it for today's video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. And I'm out. Peace.